All right, ladies and gentlemen, King and I Life podcast with your man, Soul Touch the Poet, Sun Soul X, and
Yeah.
Chanel on the mic tonight.
Hey.
Again, hit us up, kingandI369 at gmail.com. That's KINGANDEYE369 at gmail.com. And again, hit us up. Look for us on all your major podcast platforms, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and soon to come on Patreon. There it is.
Yes, sir. Patreon.
But yeah, we're gonna get back into this disrespect. And Kiss, did you want to finish up what you were saying?
Yeah, we were just, talking about the person in leadership at this moment who was quite truthful about how he felt and was quite disrespectful, with that piece. So I do agree with both of you all with that. But then it comes to what things are disrespectful. It's disrespectful to me may not be disrespectful to you, right?
Right.
Some people have an issue with tone. Like, oh, you got a little bass in your voice. It could be something at work where when every time you get up to go for a break, everybody's questioning you, but they don't question the next person. I mean, there's you know what I mean? Like, damn, can I take my 15? Right. So there's so many difference of disrespect and what you're able to tolerate.
Right.
We would hope that when you were in your 20s or a teen, your toleration was a little different, but being older, you should have some more self-control in how you handle. I love to tell people off gracefully with this same tone of voice and still telling you off. I didn't get no bass. And you're like, did she just say that to me? Like, yes, I did. And have a good day. Thank you. Because again, I can't be on World Star and everywhere else because that's going to get me in a lot of trouble. So I do have to be mindful, but people need to understand their limits also. And only you know that as far as what is disrespectful to you. And then don't do that to other people.
Right, yeah.
You need to have a good conscience.
Mm-hmm.
So our next talking point, the different kinds of disrespect, such as verbal threats, swearing at a person, pushing or throwing objects, bullying kids or as adults, physical force, setting plans up, mistreating someone, spiteful behavior. That's a lot, right?
I would say this disclaimer, I have no record. So I'm dangerous. And what I mean by that is somebody can get this smoke one good time. Okay? And as long as I don't do it on a Friday, I will get out the same day. I'm not going to get in trouble on the weekend because you got to stay until Monday. But, I'm one of those you don't want to mess with because I will get right out. I can beat your ass. Okay. And then there you have it. So I'm one of those to stay away from because I ain't never been in trouble. So I could get off with maybe anger management or something. But again, I'm not trying to go that route.
For sure.
Are you talking about verbal threats? That's all I got to know.
Well, I'm talking about, I guess, if you put the hands on, I think I'm going to hands. The verbal threat.
Force, then you talking physical force.
Yeah. If you trying to get something, I'm gonna be like, oh, word. That's what we're doing. I'm taking earrings off. Like, oh, you want this smoke? Be like the guy on Baby Boy. I got 3 strikes. Trying to be
I'm looking at this list, and when I'm looking at verbal threats and physical force, I look at them one and the same. The thing about verbal threats and physical force is, you don't know who you're dealing with. So when you feel like you gotta like if you think you're going to disrespect me with verbal threats and physical force, you better be mindful that you might catch one. And you may think that because of your skin color or your size or your position or whatever the case may be that you won't catch that hand. But you have to go into it with like you know what you're going to do, but you don't know what I'm going to do. And
right.
What I'm going to do may be 10 times worse than what the hell you're going to do. And you might not be ready for that because you might be in one of your days and try to take your day out on me. Slim, let me tell you something. I'm cool, but my temper can go from 0 to 1,000 real quick and go right back down to 0 as if it was nothing. So when you want to give verbal threat, oh, I'll slap the shit out of you, blah, 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 or you bump into me or something, like, what is you doing? Like, nah, we don't play that.
So what do men do with disrespectful women in a relationship and she is threatening to put her hands on you, or she did put her hands on you? What do you tell the male? What do you tell the men members out here that are listening? Hey, men.
Look here, my third wife. And this is the God honest truth. I got the papers to prove it. Obama's second inauguration. I went to my sister's house to watch the inauguration. I came home. She was in the bed and she had been drinking or whatever. I went to the room and I was saying something to her. I forgot what the hell I was saying to her, but it wasn't nothing crazy. And she got up and wanted to put her hands on me. So I was like, yo, stop putting your hands on me. Stop putting your hands on me. Stop putting your hands on me. Then she had grabbed the knife and said, I will kill you. Wait a minute. I called, she over here threatening to kill me. I was all kind of bitches and punk ass this and that and other. And the 911 operator, I need you to go somewhere where it's quiet because I can't really hear you over her yelling. I was like, she won't leave me alone. Went in the bathroom, closed the door. She banging on the door, blah, blah, blah. And next thing you know, it was 3 or 4 sheriff cars came to my house and took her ass up out of here. So in that situation, when a woman disrespected me, I called them boys on her. And I didn't feel no shame about it. I didn't feel less than a man doing it because my thing is this. I could have easily said, you know what, I'm going to punch you in your mouth because you got a knife on me, or I can go down there and grab one of them things and put a few hot ones in you. But you got kids in here. And it's not really that serious for me to knock the hell out of you. I'm not there. So I don't have a problem calling the police on a woman that's disrespecting me in that manner. If she's running her mouth, I'm going to be quiet to a degree, but if you keep on and keep on and keep on, let's just hope that we don't have a relationship or of any type to where I can say something to you that's really going to hurt your feelings, because if we do, I'm going to do that. But I'm going to try my best to practice restraint if you're up in my face like that, because the one thing that, if I'm not doing it to you, don't do it to me. So that's how I would handle a disrespectful woman.
My perspective on that is I have to agree with King. When it comes down to a woman being disrespectful and the point of putting her hands on you or being physical with you, I'd rather call the authorities on her because, 1, I'm a man. 2, I'm stronger than you.
Absolutely.
3, I'm bigger than you. And 4, if I really let that alpha energy out, your ass is in trouble. So I'd rather just go ahead and call the authorities. There's no shame in a man calling the authorities, because in the long run, if you put your hands on this woman, your ass is going to jail. You got to pay all kind of goddamn fees as far as the local authority fees. You got to pay the goddamn lawyer. You got to pay whatever kind of fines the damn judge throws your way. And plus, you're putting yourself at risk of possibly going to jail and your job finding out. Because my job, if we get involved in any kind of domestic dispute, if we don't report it, and if they find out on their own, your ass is gone. That's just what it is. That's one of the things they don't tolerate is domestic violence. So, again, as a man, you have to outthink the situation. Mm-hmm. You really have to separate yourself at that moment from the situation of this woman has just put her hands on me. Now, if I put my hands on her, I'm going to go all the way in. I know this because I'm defending myself, you know, and that has nothing to do with ego. That's just one person to another person defending themselves. But on the flip side of that, if it's a man, then, you know, let's get it in, because evidently the warrior spirit in you is trying to fuck with the warrior spirit in me, and there can only be one winner. So you can't be scared to take an ass whooping either. I'd rather take an ass whooping than to go and shoot somebody to prove that I'm much more of a man than you are.
Right.
I come from old school, you know. I've had fight with men, and I would say there was one fight where he may have gotten the best of me. He may have, you know, in some people's opinion, he won. In other people's opinion, I won. Do I feel like I won the fight? It's debatable. But I also learned that after that fight, me and him had so much respect for each other, we became really close friends. Mm-hmm. So, to make a long story short, you really got to outthink the situation. Don't put yourself in a situation where you could lose everything because someone else is acting out of character.
Yeah, I want to add on to what you were saying about, you know, losing your job, because at the time at my job, you know, I was armed security officer, and, you know, if you get engaged in a domestic incident like that, and, you know, whether you tell them first or not, if you're going to be put on the sideline until, you know, everything get cleared up, and, you know, that's money out your pocket. And the bigger thing about that is what a lot of people in these situations, I don't care if you're a man or woman, and that person either has a job where they carry a gun, they got a security clearance, or their job just don't tolerate that type of madness. You can't be, you have to know that sometimes people will provoke you for you to put your hands on them because they know that you have that much to lose.
Yep. Yeah. Damn sure will.
To where it was like, you know, I have a top secret security clearance at, you know, Department of Energy. You know, I have a secret clearance with the Army. You know that I carry a gun. You know all of these things. So that's another thing that I had to be mindful of when she was blatantly disrespecting me. You're not only disrespecting me, you're disrespecting my kids, because if I allow you to push me to that point with your disrespect and I put my hands on you, and although I may be right and it don't work out for me, now you're messing with my kids. So
right.
That's why for me it was like, you know what? It ain't that serious. And if I want hands put on you, I don't have to pay anybody. I can just say, do you know what Shorty did to me? You know what she tried to do to me? And, you know, somebody might deal with you, not saying that I would tell them or encourage them to, but, you know, people just know my character, and they know that, you know, there are some things that I'm just not going to put myself into. So people have to be mindful that people will, you know, do that disrespectful stuff towards you because they know that you have a lot to lose, and they don't care. They may do, I was just mad. You wasn't mad. That's not mad.
You premeditated that shit.
You're further disrespecting me by saying that you did that because you were mad. No, you weren't mad. you were being childish, spiteful, and petty, and very disrespectful. Period. No ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Yes, sir.
I'm glad you guys touched on that. That's why I brought that up, because sometimes we don't talk about, women getting in men's faces. A lot of times it's, men doing things to women, but some women can be a bit much as well, and can cost men their freedom. And I guess I'm big on it because, like I said, I have 2 boys.
Right.
And one of them, is older now. And I'm like, she's getting too crazy or something. I mean, he's not in those situations, but I don't sugarcoat those situations. Like anytime I see something that comes up on a news feed or something, I that gives me that window to talk about those real conversations, because if I'm not telling him, then he's going to find out maybe the hard way. Now, if I'm telling you and you still go and do something, or you continue to put yourself in that situation, then you can't say that your mother didn't raise you
right
the way not to.
Definitely.
And so that's why I wanted to have that portion of that disrespect on this segment, just so if there's any male viewers out there can hear that perspective from men and women. Stay out of these men's faces. If he that aggravating, you can leave too. Yeah. You can always walk out as well.
I mean, some men that I've seen, they have that mentality of, if you put yourself in a man's shoes, you're going to get knocked out like any other man. And, I can't be mad at them because, one, as a female, you place yourself in that position, whether it be, if you spit on this man, if you kick this man or punch this man, not every man has that type of restraint. So you, as a female, you definitely got to be mindful of choosing your battles wisely. So when you choose to battle or have an entanglement or an engagement with someone who mentally isn't capable of restraining himself, you can't be surprised by the results you get.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Or if you think he is someone who restrains, so you think you're going to be that bully and, attack him and hit him, and it doesn't matter the size. A woman can be bigger than you, so you think, but men are built of strength. That is how you guys were built and created, of strength. So I just feel, getting in a man's face and hitting him, you are setting yourself up to be hit. And if that's not the scenario and he's hitting on you, find yourself a safe place to go.
Definitely.
And that's what I'm saying. You don't have to stay in that situation. And the same with men. You don't have to stay in that situation either to be abused and disrespected. So that's my public service announcement. Leave.
For sure. I mean, the thing about it is you think you might have a sheep, but you push that sheep, what you perceive to be a sheep, into a corner, that motherfucker might turn into a wolf on your ass. So what you thought you had, you really ain't got, because that person, they didn't know they had it in them until you pushed them into that situation. Right. I.e. the movie with was it based on Tina Turner's life?
Yes. What's love got to do with it?
Yeah, that particular scene where he was whooping her ass in the back of the limousine, and then when it ignited something within her to say, let me fight back. Yeah. And when she fought back, that's when you see the whole goddamn paradigm change, because she knew, this is it. I have that strength in me, and I want to thank you for bringing it out. So when she kicked that motherfucker in his nuts, he thought he had a sheep, and he found out that he really had a wolf.
That's true, because all that years she took, and finally she said she had enough. So I think this is what we're saying, that it works both ways. Nobody has to tolerate disrespect, which again includes physical force, even in an intimate relationship.
Yeah.
Definitely. So our last talking point, I think we've gone over it, but I want to throw it out there anyway. How do you as an individual handle respect? I'll say this for me. Um, Again, I think about the situation that I'm in. I observe the surroundings. Again, meaning, am I by myself? Can I handle this by myself? Or do I have my family with me? My first concern is always to get my family out of harm's way.
Right.
And third and lastly, you got to ask yourself, is it really worth
Mm-hmm.
the situation I'm about to put myself in because I felt disrespected? Was this something I could actually handle verbally, meaning address the issue without letting it lead to physical violence?
Right. Yeah.
For me, how I handle disrespect is definitely different from my younger years. I definitely have more restraint. I look at the bigger picture. I have a future, and I have things that I have accomplished in life, and proving points, whether it's aggressive verbal engagement or physical, is just not what I stand for and what I want to be about. And that's not the brand that I'm trying to create for myself. So for me, I guess some people would say, oh, you're a little soft now. Well, I may be soft, but you know what? I'd rather be that than, in some type of legal battles or not living, because some people are really crackpot crazy, and just a little disagreement turns into some other matters of safety. So I do, again, try my best to pick my battles on what I address and how I address it. But we sometimes all still have those moments. And if you do have a moment, just know it was just a moment and try to do better the next time, because people will come to provoke you.
Mm-hmm.
Period.
Well said.
I'll describe how I handle disrespect by using the military decision-making process. So the first step of that is receipt of the mission. So somebody disrespects you, all right, that's the mission. They disrespect you. The second step is mission analysis. So, all right, this person disrespected me. Now let me analyze this situation and really take in what happened. Then the third part of that is course of action development. Now, let me think about the different ways that I can handle this situation. Then after that, you have course of action analysis. Okay, now let me think about how these different courses of action can affect how I'm going to handle this. Then you do comparison. Okay, well, let's compare, how these actions are going to affect what happened with this person. Then you decide course of action approval. You decide how you're going to handle that situation, and in the best way that's going to have the best outcome for you and that person. And then orders, production, dissemination, transition. Now you're putting in place what your decision was to handle that situation. So to sum that all up, somebody disrespects you, you look at what they did, you think of how you're going to handle that, and you think of what different ways that you can approach it and the outcomes of that, and then you proceed forward. So bottom line is, if a person puts you in a position where your life is not in jeopardy, you have the opportunity to be like, you know what, it's not that serious, I can walk away. It's minor. I may say something, I may not. Let me weigh the odds on that. If it's something that's like gross disrespect, like if you out there with your family and somebody does something to disrespect your kids or disrespect your lady, or you with a group of friends, and somebody disrespects a female, if it's to the point to where it's like, you know what, they're putting our lives in jeopardy or something like that, then, you elevate it accordingly. Always think about your options out there. You can always
Definitely
call them people. Hey, this is going on, blah, 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 depending on the situation. Whether it's big or small, it doesn't matter. It's just the fact of, that you've done something and your reaction to it, you thought about it. You weren't overly emotional about it. You took time to think and act rationally in a manner that, if it goes down, you know what? At least I know I did what I needed to do to protect myself and whoever's with me. And that's all I have on that.
all right. I'm gonna give one more closing words of wisdom. The thing about it is, when it comes down to disrespect in general, again, you really have to look out for number one. Nothing is worth you losing your life over. Nothing. Because when you lose your life, you can't get that back. I promise you. You just can't get it back. So, again, weigh all options. Protect yourself first. Remove yourself from the situation. Because, again, nothing is worth you losing your life over. Yes, you might take a few bumps and bruises from your ego, or what your ego perceives to be bumps and bruises. But if you can walk away from a situation, that's the best predicament you can put yourself in.
Yes, I agree.
Agreed.
So once again, we want to thank everybody for tuning in to the King and I Life podcast. I am Sun Soul Lex. This is Kiss, and also my brother Soul Toucher the Poet. And I want to remind everybody, go buy my boy books, because he got them out there.
Wait a minute. This is my third book, baby. The third.
Yes, sir.
Book of King. Quotes, thoughts, and invocations. It's available paperback and ebook. Go get that.
Pick it up. I promise you won't be disappointed.
Yes.
Share the love. Share the love.
That's right.
And we are out again. King and I 369 at gmail.com. We've said it. We said it. KINGAND EYE 369 at gmail.com. Find us on all of your major podcast platforms: YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Patreon. King and I Life podcast, and we are out. And a special thanks to our guest.
For sure, for sure.
Kiss
to the queen.
Yes.
Love it.
Definitely, definitely.
And we out.
Peace.
See?